It's been a busy week in the world of Formula One. The silly season has started, and F1 has not failed to impress.
Carlos. Big up Carlos. Finally made a move.
Exactly, finally. Carlos Sainz has finally made a move. That's the big talking point this silly season so far. But I don't think it's actually the most interesting thing that's come out. There's been so much more that's happened.
We've had a lot this week, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll start at Sainz.
Yeah, let's start with Sainz. And then
We'll start with Sainz and we'll just gradually move on through everything.
Yeah. This podcast is going to be long, bro.
Pretty much this week.
Yeah.
What?
This podcast is going to be long. It's going to be a long podcast. It's going to be interesting, though.
I don't know if it'll be long.
Let's go.
Well, we'll soon find out, won't we?
Let's start with Sainz, shall we?
Carlos Sainz, 2 years with an option of further year
Yep.
at Williams with Alex Albon. What a lineup that is for Williams, by the way.
It is, yeah.
What
It's
a
a very
lineup.
lineup.
Oh my God. Like, Sainz, Albon. You've got to put that as one of the best lineups on the grid for next year.
Yeah, almost certainly. What I think is really interesting about the driver lineups going into next year is that usually you see we usually see mostly drivers alongside a number 2 or a rookie or like someone that's not really proven yet. You know, look at Albon and Sargent, you look at Max and Perez. You know, you look at Lewis and Valtteri a few years ago. The point I'm trying to get at is, I don't think we've ever had, now correct me if there was another time where this might have happened, but I don't think we've ever really had such a solid grid next season in terms of driver lineups, ever. Like, we've got Sainz and Albon, we've got Lewis and Charles, we're going to probably have Max and someone else, we're going to have George and someone else.
You had, like, the period where you had Seb and Webber.
Yeah, but then McLaren have got Lando and Oscar. Like,
yeah, Lewis and Button.
Yeah, I guess so.
Alonso and Massa.
Yeah, maybe the 2010s was maybe the last time we saw this, but I don't think we've ever seen such a solid lineup of driver pairings in a very long time.
Solid. I mean, we're going to see Lewis and Charles, aren't we?
Yeah, Lewis and Charles, no doubt. Red Bull. If Red Bull sack Perez off, they're not bringing in another slouch. They're going to make sure they get a top tier driver as well.
If Red Bull do sack Perez off, it's looking like it'll be Daniel or Yuki.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll fish outside of the Red Bull area. And it won't be Lawson. They won't just chuck Lawson in there because they want to protect Lawson.
Yeah. They'll
chuck Daniel or Yuki in.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a fun year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's shaping up like a grid that could be all over the place, yet really close.
Yeah,
really
that's the thing. I think what's also interesting about the Sainz deal and a lot of the silly season deals that we've seen so far, just talking generally, is that we're in this transitional phase of Formula One where we didn't see any changes last season, but this season we're seeing loads, and everyone's switching about because of the 2026 regs. It's really interesting because everyone's sort of gambling on a different team. Lewis is gambling on Ferrari. Sainz and Albon, one of the strongest lineups, are gambling on a team that's at the back of the grid that potentially could move back to the front. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, that's what you got to do. And the one that I would have bet to have a gamble for these 2026 hasn't gambled, and that's Alonso.
Yeah, which is usually the guy who gambles first.
If I was Alonso, I thought he would have easily have gambled on a Mercedes, an Audi, something like that. If I was Alonso, not really Aston Martin, although it is a gamble to stay at Aston Martin.
Yeah,
it is a gamble. So, I mean, fair play. But I mean, we've got a couple of drivers that are looking like they might not even get on the grid.
No. By the way, stick on Alonso real quick. I actually want to point out something. Fernando Alonso has made the worst call in every stage of his career, right? So
this ain't changing.
So he left McLaren in 2007. Granted, that was because of the issues with Ron Dennis and Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
But then again, McLaren won the next season. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went back to Renault, who were then really bad.
Yeah.
He then went to Ferrari, failed to win a championship. Granted, the car was decent. It was okay.
Yeah.
He then left Ferrari for McLaren. Ferrari then got better and started challenging Mercedes with Seb. And no doubt Alonso could have put up a good fight against Hamilton as well. He then left McLaren, and now look at McLaren's upward trajectory. He went to Alpine. Granted, Alpine, he was okay to leave. He was right to leave Alpine, don't get me wrong. But then he went to Aston Martin of all places. And now he's gambled to stay at Aston Martin when the Red Bull and Mercedes seat were available. This man just can't win.
Yeah, I mean, just poor guy, innit?
Yeah.
Poor luck. Bro. he's a gambler, but none of it. Maybe he needs to stop gambling.
Yeah, maybe that's why he stayed.
Don't take Alonso to Vegas.
Yeah, don't.
Whatever you do. Oh
do
my
not.
God. Poor guy.
Yeah.
But he is a driver that has a seat.
Yes, he is.
A driver who doesn't have a seat, who probably definitely deserves one. Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and we mentioned this a few podcasts ago, that Sauber really don't seem like they're investing into this season at all because of Audi coming in. You know, if you're Sauber, why would you invest? You know, you'd invest the minimum amount of money into this team because Audi are going to take over, and you're not going to want. You know, once Audi have already bought the team, there's no point of investing. It's just wasting money. So, and it's clear that is happening, and Bottas is suffering because of it. And we were saying, like, in the driver ratings in the post-race podcast we do after the race, you can never grade Bottas fairly because you have no idea if he really just is having a bad race or if he's driving the absolute arse off that car, but he's getting nowhere because the car's just a bin on wheels.
Yeah, that's literally it, isn't it? I mean, that car is shocking. And I don't think they care because obviously it's Audi takeover. That's their focus now.
Yeah.
And it's at a point, is Bottas going to get that seat at Audi? Is he going to get a seat somewhere else? I don't even know. I really don't know because, well, while we're on Audi, I mean, at the moment, Audi are looking, well, Matteo Binotto is obviously back at Audi as a project overseer, so he's making all the big calls, and he likes the look of Bortoleto from F2, doesn't he?
He does.
Teenage rookie.
Bortoleto is no slouch either. He's a decent driver. I don't think he's on the level of Behrman or Antonelli.
No.
Yeah, but you know you can never really, you know, drivers in F2 win the championship like Stoffel Van Dorn and then go completely unnoticed for their F1 career. Drivers like Alex Albon, you know, came third in the championship, didn't really challenge Russell, and then he's gone on to be a very successful Formula 1 driver, one of the best on the grid. So, well, highly regarded on the grid. Let's say that.
Let's not go with one of the best on the grid.
He's highly regarded. We'll say that.
A comfortable, firm driver on the grid for many years to come.
Yeah, so with Bortoleto, you never really know, but we'll see.
No, I mean, it's an interesting call. Obviously, you got Hulkenberg already confirmed there.
Yep.
Put a rookie in next to him. Is that the right move for Audi? I think it could be. I really do think it could be.
Yeah.
Obviously, with it looking like Mercedes going to be bringing in Antonelli.
Yes.
Now, obviously, Haas bringing in Behrman. Bortoleto, you do usually get 2 or 3 rookies, don't you, coming in, especially with these new regs.
Yep.
Could work out for him. Could work out with, obviously, Matteo Binotto's a huge fan of him by the sounds of things, and I haven't heard anything about Bottas.
No, and it's unfortunate for Bottas. While we're on,
really good driver.
Oh yeah, I think
Phenomenal
he's been a bit underrated the last few years, I do believe.
Oh yeah.
While we're on the topic of Audi, why don't we talk about Mr. Jonathan Wheatley?
Yes, Jonathan Wheatley. Obviously, Red Bull going for a torrid time at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, this will probably segue as nicely onto Red Bull as well at some point.
Yeah, we'll probably get onto Red Bull at the end of this, but Jonathan Wheatley obviously going, along with Adrian Newey as well.
Yeah.
It's not looking good. Obviously, Red Bull's form dropping.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's not great, is it?
Imploded, isn't it, for Red Bull? But it's a good move for Audi,
Yeah.
though, bringing in Jonathan Wheatley as their team principal.
Yep.
You can't fault Audi for it, but wow. Who
Yeah.
would have thought that?
It's crazy, isn't it? I remember at the start of the season when the Christian Horner allegations were floating about. I remember everyone saying, well, if Horner gets released, Wheatley will be the new team principal for Red Bull.
Yeah.
And they had that sort of security, didn't they? As bad as things got at Red Bull, it was like, okay, if Horner leaves, at least, you know, they've got Jonathan Wheatley to step up, which wasn't a bad choice at all.
No.
And now he's gone. If Horner does end up leaving at some point, Adrian Newey's leaving, that team is going to absolutely implode.
Helmut Marko comes team principal.
Mate, bro.
Could you imagine?
Bro, I tell you, the lineup would be Liam Lawson and Max Verstappen. Yeah, it'd be Liam and Max. He'd sack Daniel Perez and Yuki off all at the same time.
No, he don't care.
You get the feeling that he doesn't like any of them.
Yeah, you do get that feeling, doesn't he? But in saying that, I think obviously you got Horner battling Ricardo's corner as well.
Yeah, you do.
So that's that regard. But I don't think Marco hates Ricardo though.
No, he doesn't hate him, but it's just funny, isn't it? How
I do think Marco has a vendetta against Yuki though.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's so annoying, isn't it? Why is Marco so against Yuki? I know it's probably the Honda tie, but why? Like, come on, man.
I don't know. Oh, well, I mean, shall we transition onto Red Bull?
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's talk about Red Bull.
Let's just transition onto it because obviously the big news, this will turn back into Yuki. The big news is they're keeping Perez.
Yes. Yeah.
By the sounds of things, involuntarily.
Yes, so this was the maddest thing I've seen in Formula 1 for a while. And to be fair, the last thing I've seen that's mad, it was Red Bull as well. So Red Bull this season pulling all the strings with the big news. Yeah. But I thought this was mad. Like, this was crazy when I saw this. So Jack, would you like to explain why Red Bull are keeping Sergio Perez?
Well, because, long story short, we got the Mexico GP in the second half.
Yep.
Sergio Perez is Mexican.
Yep.
And Liberty Media for financial, for purposes, marketing, everything, with a Mexican crowd.
Yep.
Need him to stay.
Yeah.
No, you are not getting rid of Perez. He is staying.
And it's really unfortunate that Red Bull, whether this is true or not, it looks very likely that it could be.
This is a rumour.
But it makes sense, though, because
it makes a lot of sense.
If there's one country that is, apart from Great Britain, and the Dutch about Max, because the Dutch go mad about Max Verstappen. If there's one country that are crazy about their driver, it's Mexico. They are crazy about Sergio Perez. The support for Perez every time we go to Mexico is phenomenal. And we also have to remember, as well, Perez's dad is like, isn't he like a really powerful person in Mexico?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the stars just align for this rumor to be true. Like, it's surely, like, it makes so much sense. Perez being kept because the revenue's going to drop for the Mexico GP, and Liberty Media can't afford that because Perez is loved in Mexico, and then Perez's dad is this powerful man in Mexico as well. Like, it seems a little bit coincidental this rumor came out.
Oh, it's brilliant, though.
But you know, one entity that's going to suffer from all this, Red Bull Racing. The Constructors' Championship may be on the ropes.
Obviously, Helmut Marko came out and said they want to get Perez back to the form that they know that he can do. I haven't seen form from Perez, to be honest. So the form that Perez can do is 8th, Helmut. So
he's on about his 2021-22 and partly 2023 performance.
What? Form. First 4 races last season.
Yep.
That was about it.
Yep.
First 4 races this season. That was about it.
Yep.
2021, 2022 was... Well, 2020 was pink Mercedes, wasn't it?
Yes.
So that's where that came from.
It's 2021-22. Like,
they won
too
the
bad.
form. The only one that really stood Perez out was that Sakir win.
No, but he's talking about his Red Bull form in 2022. You know, when he's... No, but obviously he wasn't beating Max, but he was thereabouts where they needed him to be. They want that Red Bull back because... What did he finish? Third in the championship?
2022.
Yeah, it was third. He finished third in the championship. That's exactly where they need him to be.
Second, but...
Well, third's better than 8th.
Yeah.
So that's where they need him to be, and they don't expect him to beat Max. I mean, even that clause in his contract is top 5. Like, he's got 5 places leeway.
Well, yeah, and he's still 8th.
Yeah.
So...
Good grief.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're just going to suffer the longer they keep Perez in, but they obviously can't get rid of Perez.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ricciardo's also been mentioned that he's staying at RB. That came out at the same time as his Perez news. So that leads me to believe that they wanted to bring in Ricciardo.
Yeah.
That's the one that they chose. Zero mention of Yuki. Why? Why not Yuki?
It's bad. It's bad, isn't it?
It's really bad and it's really harsh on Yuki. I told you I would spin back around to Yuki because Yuki has had a phenomenal start to this year.
Yeah.
And he's just getting better every year. The thing is, you look at a driver and they go through these spikes. Oh, they're really good, they're really bad, they're really good. Ever since Yuki's come in, his trajectory has just been on the up.
Yeah.
Every year. And with Yuki going up every year, he's ready for that Red Bull seat now.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
no mention.
It's kind of like Lando Norris, where his trajectory has been very much up every season. And Yuki's sort of done the same thing.
Well, yeah.
And it's really unfortunate because Lando's been able to show his worth by getting a good car in the McLaren of this year, and he's kind of had that trajectory with the team, whereas Yuki's in a team RB that isn't designed to do that. They're never going to be fighting at the front because they have Red Bull. So Yuki's in this situation where he's sort of been left out to dry. He's not given a chance in a top team, which is really unfortunate.
It is. I mean, that Perez whole malarkey with Liberty and marketing and finance and Perez's dad in Mexico, the whole Mexican crowd and everything. Put Yuki in that Red Bull. We've got Japan coming up. That will go off the chart because we know the following Yuki gets in Japan.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, we don't have Japan coming up, but, you know.
No, we don't. We have Japan. We usually have Japan coming up.
We usually have Japan coming up.
F1's fucked my head.
Yeah, bro, Japan's usually at the end of the season. But
yeah, Japan. Why? Where's Japan gone?
I don't know. I like it being at the end of the season, but oh well.
I prefer it being at the end.
Yeah.
Although it did help us in waking up. Yeah,
it did. I mean, doing those watch-alongs, man, bro.
Maybe that's why there's no Daniel or Yuki. Because we've already had their races.
Thing is, for the team, I doubt that's a factor, but for marketing, for Liberty, if the Japanese Grand Prix was to come up, they'd be like, yeah, go ahead. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Yuki's following in Japan is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, what other news have we got? I mean, Alpine, we've got a huge chunk of news.
Yeah, shall we just get into Alpine? I mean,
yep.
Oliver Oaks.
Yep.
Straight there. If you haven't heard of Oliver Oaks, here's the director, the main Donny at High Tech, F3, F2, blah, 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 now team principal at Alpine.
Yep.
Wow. And he's the youngest team principal on the grid.
He is. What's interesting about this, though, and you mentioned this to me the other day, actually, and we weren't on the pod, but I thought this was interesting, is... obviously he's been involved with High Tech because we know High Tech, I believe, had Mercedes power.
Yes, They
Right.
they had George Russell back in F3.
They had George Russell in F3. Alpine are meant to be going to Mercedes engines. It's looking very likely they're going to Mercedes engines for...
Very lightly.
Very lightly.
Obviously, Oliver Oaks put in a bid, same time as Andretti, for high-tech to come into Formula 1.
He did.
Obviously, they didn't progress. Andretti did. And then
Yep.
now we know what's happened with Andretti. Obviously, Renault going. Obviously, Alpine team name, considering going probably.
Well, it's
years'
interesting, though. It's interesting. It's been a steady decline. Renault is a manufacturing team. They are like Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yes.
And soon to be Audi. They are one of them. They're one of the big teams in the sport. They transitioned to Alpine. They are still one of those teams. But transitioning away from their manufacturer name suggests, well, two things. Number one, they wanted to sell the Alpine road car, which fair enough. And number two, they are sort of backing out of becoming one of the big manufacturer teams. And then there was rumours at the start of the season that they might even be selling the team. High-tech, Oliver Oaks, Mercedes engines, George Russell. It's all coming together. What? I mean...
It seems like, obviously, Oliver Oaks wanted to come in with high-tech to Formula 1. Got denied. This is a new route for high-tech to come in. And Mercedes engines coming in, if that gets confirmed, I wouldn't bet against in a few years' time that being high-tech F1 team.
High-tech Mercedes F1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, everything the cards line up. Everything lines up.
It does. It is interesting to see the moves that Oliver Oakson specifically is taking, because it is him.
Yeah.
It is him that has done this with high tech. Obviously, he's now the team principal at Alpine.
Yep.
How long for?
Well, we'll see.
We're going to see. And I would not be surprised if that does change in a few years' time.
Yeah, so that's something that was very interesting, I thought. You don't really even realize how much the dots connect until you sit down and think. Like, too many things connect there, right?
Well, you didn't connect the dots, did you?
I didn't. You had to point out, and then I was like, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense.
Connected the dots for you.
So, yeah, no, it's just the fact that Oliver Oaks wanted high-tech in F1.
Yes.
He didn't progress.
No.
He had Mercedes engines. Alpine might have Mercedes engines. Renault looked to sell Alpine. Oliver Oaks is now the team principal of Alpine. What's going on?
High-tech F1.
High-tech F1. There you go. It works out, right?
That's what appears to be going on.
Yes, it does.
So, yeah, that is very interesting. I mean, obviously, keeping on Alpine, obviously we've got Oliver Oaks coming in. We also need another driver to come in at Alpine.
We do.
Which, it appears, after the rumours this week, Jack Doohan is one of the favourites, which I did call at the start of the season, if you remember.
Yeah, you did, actually. I don't know if we did a video doing our driver lineup predictions. Did we do our driver lineup predictions?
We might have done back in January.
If we did, we should go back and look at that video and do like a compare video at the end of the season. I think you did say Jack Doohan. I'm not sure if I said Jack Doohan.
I did say Jack Doohan.
You definitely did.
You didn't.
I don't know who I said. Did I say Ocon? I think I said Ocon and Gasly. I think I stuck with Ocon and Gasly.
You stuck with Ocon and Gasly, I think.
I think I did, yeah.
I think I said Jack Doohan.
I think you did say Doohan. Which is interesting because, personally, I do think Jack Doohan could do bits. And as we mentioned with Bortoletto, until they come into F1, you don't really know how well they're going to do. Even if they're really good in F2 or they're not, you never know, right?
No.
I don't really believe Jack Doohan is good enough. But we'll see.
That's the thing, we'll see. Obviously, it's not just Jack Doohan. Jack Doohan is the front runner, but another driver that they have considered and are looking at, obviously, another Mercedes link here.
Yep.
Mick Schumacher.
Yes, and I wouldn't be opposed to... I think Mick Schumacher got done dirty because of how bad that Haas was at the time.
Yeah, I think Schumacher did get done dirty there. Obviously, he didn't help himself with all the crashes that he made.
No.
In his final season.
He did put some very good performances in, though, and I definitely think he deserves a second chance.
He does, and he definitely does. And obviously, if Mercedes engines do go, I think we know what Toto's like. I think he could get Schumacher that seat.
And we know, with the connection, I'm sure Mercedes could loan Schumacher to Alpine for a very discounted price, which could help
100.
them. Which could help them financially as well. So
it could be a bit like, oh yeah, we'll give you this Mercedes engine, but we can loan you. We want to loan you this driver.
You have to put Schumacher in the car.
You have to have Schumacher for it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there could be some form of deal sort of there, like kind of similar what they did with Ocon in a way.
Yeah, maybe.
So
I mean, Ocon isn't right. Interestingly, isn't Ocon technically still a Mercedes driver?
I don't think so.
Is he not anymore?
I don't. After he came out of their reserve driver, I think he fully left then.
Well, he was still a Mercedes driver at Racing Point, because I remember he was loaned
at Racing Point. Yes, then he went to Mercedes reserve driver. And then he went to Alpine.
So is he signed fully by Alpine, or is he still a Mercedes?
I think he was signed fully by Alpine, and obviously he's now at Haas.
Yeah, okay.
So
well, obviously it's Ferrari now.
If Mercedes... Because you got to think, if Mercedes engines were coming in, do you think they would have got rid of Ocon?
Probably not.
There you go then.
Actually, here's a little bit of an off-topic question. We'll get back to Alpine because there's something else that came out that was really funny. We need to talk about. But
yeah. I know which one that one is.
We all know what.
Slow Sports News there when you sent that one to me this morning.
I did. I didn't see it when it came out, but it was quite funny.
Slow Sports News.
But either way, with Esteban Ocon, we know he's he's technically in the quote-unquote prime of his career, right? He's not gonna get any better than he is now. No. And he's a very competent driver. He's a very good driver.
He's a competent driver. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's not the worst. He's just fucking annoying.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't like him. You've got to separate your dislike of the man of Esteban Ocon to his quality. And he is quality. He is very quick.
He's quality. I don't think he's top half of the grid if you have a look at quality, but he's definitely not bottom.
With Haas and the connection to Ferrari, is there a chance?
No.
Not even after.
No.
No. Hold on.
No.
Oh, hold on.
Hold on. Mention.
Hold
Ferrari.
on. Hold on. If let's just say this scenario happens. Let's say Oliver Behrman doesn't turn out to be the man we all think he is. All the other good drivers are signed down to Mercedes. Max has maybe gone to Mercedes. Russell's at Mercedes. Red Bull have got their drivers. Aston Martin have their drivers, right? Ferrari needs someone to replace Lewis Hamilton. It's not Oliver Behrman. Esteban Ocon's your only option. Could he potentially do it? Is there a chance?
I think they talked Lewis Hamilton into coming. I honestly, I think they try and talk Sebastian Vettel back before that happens.
Okay, right, whatever. Anyway, let's move on to.
In hell, will I ever see Esteban Ocon in them red overalls?
All right.
If I see that happen, I will eat a Ferrari hat.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll hold you to that.
No chance in hell.
Is that if he ever drives for Ferrari?
No, he's never going to drive for the Ferrari works team.
Right.
He won't. I mean, when Lewis goes, there maybe could be a Behrman there, Antonelli, Lando. They'll fish around. They're not going for Ocon.
All right. Anyway, let's move on to.
That was really deluded from you.
No, but I'm just posing. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying it would happen.
Never gonna.
But the thing is though, you say it's never gonna happen. It happened to Perez. And it'd be the same sort of situation. So that's all I'm going to say. And the connection was there. Perez and Race... Oh, no, it wasn't. Perez's was more unlikely. Because he went from Racing Point to Red Bull. At least it's a Ferrari either way.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was when Perez and Ocon were together, were they not? I know that was Perez and Stroll at that time.
Yeah, it's Perez and Stroll.
Okay. Well, when Perez and Ocon were together, Perez was outdoing Ocon.
Oh, not by much.
Not by much, but when they were together, Ocon was the cause of the crashes. Imagine Ocon next to Charles. The amount of crashes. The Ferrari already had enough nightmares.
I mean, I'd just use Ocon as a battering ram for Max.
Well, first of all, he's got to get close enough to Max.
Anyway, let's move on to Alpine again. So they potentially might have a new title sponsor next season.
No, for fuck's sake.
Oh, right.
Subscribe me up, Pierre. Your OnlyFans.
Mate, I'm gonna be getting that Pierre Gasly OnlyFans, man.
Yeah. Exclusive Pierre content.
So, OnlyFans might be the title sponsor. So here's the thing. I don't
Maybe
get about
Mick Schumacher will go then. Good looking lad, Mick.
Maybe they're just picking the best looking. Maybe that's the criteria for him.
Where's Carlos?
Oh. Where's Lewis?
Spanish spice.
Nice. Where's Lando Norris? He's a good looking bloke.
Yeah.
Charles. Sign up Charles. No. Oh, so okay. So
that changes your livery.
Oh, a nude livery.
White livery then, Lewis.
Oh, bro, what are they doing? So the one thing I don't get about this, right, and this might get a little bit political.
Oh, bloody hell.
But it's true, right? Why are F1 allowing an OnlyFans title sponsor when they disallow cigarette title sponsors?
Money,
I know it's money, but at the end of the day, wait, this is another thing. Not just that, they stopped doing grid girls, right?
Yeah, why?
So because it was they stopped doing it because it objectifies women, which fair enough, right? We got like that. We live in a society where we get the whole shtick, right? That's fair enough. Okay, they stopped doing grid girls for that reason. That's fair. But then they're allowing OnlyFans as a title sponsor. That completely...
They're not definitely allowing it. It's not confirmed.
No, it's not. But the fact that this is even being considered is mad. Because it's like, if this goes through, then like OnlyFans... the whole idea of OnlyFans... there's a massive like backlash against it. No, but you know what I mean? Like, you're going to get rid of grid girls, but then have OnlyFans as a title sponsor. It makes no sense.
I mean, the difference with certain things is, obviously, cigarettes, it's harmful to health. You can't be seen promoting that, obviously. We've got fucking alcohol on the car, and they're driving cars. That's promoting drink driving. Like, come on.
Oh, they do, actually, to be fair, they do,
They do have that.
They do.
So, obviously, you've got the Heineken sponsors while they're driving around on the bloody Nifit. Like, there are there, obviously, OnlyFans. The people who are on there, they're there by choice. They're charging for other people to see their content. They're doing it willingly.
That's fair enough. Yeah, okay, when you think about it like
that. If they're doing that willingly, and they're happy to be there, why couldn't they be a sponsor? Because it's not like anyone's being forced. It's not a site that it's free to use. You have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess when you put it into perspective of the people that are doing it out of their own respect. They're doing it
off their own cuff.
Yeah, they're doing it off their... Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Their content on that website.
No, that's fair enough. I just know that line of thinking will be a major backlash against it. I just know it will. 100%.
Yeah, there'll be a huge backlash against it, but then if you can spin it correct, like I've just said, if they can spin it better than what I can do, which they definitely can because they've got like proper top-end marketing people.
Yeah.
Who'll be able to get it out there in a correct way. Then I don't fully see a problem with it.
That's fair enough. I mean, when you spin it like that, it makes sense. But from my initial perspective on it was, it just seemed a little bit hypocritical when OnlyFans promotes. I get that they're doing it off their own back, but it promotes the same sort of objectification. But either way, it's not. We're here to talk about racing, but I just thought it'd be interesting to put that perspective out there on that.
I mean, our Ferrari put in drink driving out there on their front wing. They've got a beer on there.
Well,
McLaren
that's
have alcohol on there.
Well, that's another conversation, isn't it? Because they ban smoking, but they don't ban alcohol.
That's probably what Alpine would say. Like, other teams have alcohol on their cars, and we're drivers.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a bloody rocket scientist to connect drink driving there.
No, that's right. I mean, the same, and that's more of an argument for why they ban smoking, though, right? They ban smoking, but not alcohol. So, I guess there is a bit of hypocrisy already in the sport. But either way, I thought it was an interesting debate. If it does go through, obviously it's not confirmed, but it'd be quite funny though to see an OnlyFans logo on an F1 car.
That car, I'm telling you that it will be white.
What, white and light blue?
It'll be white and light blue.
To be fair, it might look quite nice actually. might look quite nice. I just hope
that they do the colours correctly.
Yes, we can always hope.
That could go horribly wrong, and they could turn into a massive meme.
Yeah, they very much could do.
Yeah.
I already know.
Yeah.
Have we got any more news?
I think we just tied it all in together there, to be honest.
Fairs, I think we've covered it. I think we've covered every basis.
We've covered it. Obviously, we'll probably get more news coming out in this upcoming week.
Yes.
Which, more driver moves, hopefully. Hopefully most people will get sorted out for the Netherlands, won't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's a rumour that Antonelli could be confirmed before the summer break is done, but obviously that's just a very in the air sort of rumour. Nothing sort of concrete about that coming out.
We're not getting anything confirmed about Red Bull anytime soon.
Nope.
So you can knock them off. Obviously, you got Bottas. Keep an eye on Alpine, who's going to be driving there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, well, with that said, thanks for watching the Undercut podcast. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow for another video.